Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. I'm here with Dan St. Germain, funny comic. You have a web series called Kicking Dan Out.
Yeah.
Now explain this.
It's on. There's still like episodes on my damn channel.
Right.
So it's just I don't know. Hopefully we're doing more, but it's this guy. It's just me getting kicked out of. The first one was just get kicked out of an apartment, but then I get kicked out of like the Juggalos. You know, and then
You mean the insane clown posse?
Yeah, like they kicked me out.
How the hell does that happen?
Because I was just like a terrible. I didn't know who they were really, and then I get kicked out of like an Occupy Wall Street group for having no political beliefs whatsoever.
Yeah, but the Juggalos, man. Like I've seen some of that. I've actually.
Did you do that? Gathering the Juggalos?
I sort of. By mistake, I hung out with a bunch of Juggalos in Detroit once after a gig I did.
That's like hanging out with Muslims at Mecca or something.
I know. Well, I did a stand-up gig in Detroit, like, oh God, 15 years ago. It was before I was on Howard. I was just, I was doing the road. It was the summer. I had off from doing a TV show, and I was on the road, and I played a club outside of Detroit, and I was staying in Detroit at like a little like kind of crappy hotel. And one of the guys who managed the club told me about this great sort of outside party. It was summertime, and he said it's outside at a guy's yard. And in one of those burnt out areas of Detroit. And I went there, and there's a bunch of kids that were like dreads painted. And I sort of knew about the Insane Clown Posse through the Howard Stern show. I'd heard them a couple of times, but I never put the word Juggalo together. And just, I don't know, where people would just start punching each other in the face. And like, I was obviously kind of taken aback by it. And the guy would say, no, they're friendly. Nothing bad's going to happen here. And, guys were hitting women, like, in the face, and the girls were laughing about it and bleeding. So I don't know what you did to get kicked out of that situation.
Notice you never see any domestic abuse ads with Juggalos in it. Just like, yeah, you're allowed to hit their women. It's fine. They're not worth it.
But the women were into it. Like, yeah, I'm into it. And, like, they have a piece of their tooth hanging off.
This girl I know, the first time, I was like, what did you do the first time you dropped acid? She goes, oh, I listened to an Insane Clown Posse record from front to back. But that is the opposite of Sgt. Pepper's. It's the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life.
That's what you do the last time you drop it.
Yeah. That's before becoming a born-again Christian.
I listened to an entire ICP album. So that's what it is. So how often do you do that, the show?
Well, we just did 6 episodes, and I mean, we're just kind of waiting because the My Damn Channel like just merged with another thing. It's like those web things where you kind of wait to hear.
It's crazy.
Where like if there's going to be funding, and so hopefully enough people will bugger them to get the shows more episodes.
Yeah, you talk about anxiety. That's what the web is like. If you do like web series and stuff, you're just waiting to see what happens. Financing always falls through. Like this is going to happen. It's going to happen. Then no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about this new one I'm doing with Comedy Central about. I used to be an overnight security guard at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So it's about that and then the end of my drinking, kind of like together. So, and it's going to be animated. So I'm looking forward to that once that starts to get going.
Interesting.
I'm curious how the end of drinking worked. I saw in your bio that you were in an ad campaign for Bushmills.
I was sober then. That was like during a sober time.
How hard is that?
Money.
Right.
What the hell?
They try to pay you in whiskey.
No, they gave money, but they took us to Belfast at the Bushmills distillery, and that was brutal. Like, there was just barrels of Bushmills.
I mean, listen, I have no dignity. I mean, you got to see my pool down the shore after Hurricane Sandy. I would do a commercial for heroin right now. I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm like, hey, listen, man, shoot up. And then where do I cash the check? I just, I want money. And I feel if I make it in an undignified way, maybe I'll leave it to kids or something, and they'll do something good.
So they can get heroin,
or get heroin. I mean, it's America. Or maybe do something good. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's fine. Some people could do. I read a statistic that 98% of people who use heroin are addicted, and I was always like, those 2% must really piss off that other 98%.
You have no idea. Those 2% who can do heroin like socially. Just kind of like, yeah, during the game at a bar. What are you doing tomorrow? I gotta be at work tomorrow at 6. I'm going to the gym first. I've got a Pilates class. I gotta pick up the kids. You never see that, right? Yeah, those 2%. That's a great bit. That's a great comedy bit. Someone should write that down. You know Mitch Hedberg's great joke where he goes, you know who Mitch Hedberg is?
Yes.
Okay. He's got a great joke that I think every comedian can relate to. He's like, sometimes I'm laying in bed at night and I think of a joke that's really funny. And then I spend the rest of the night convincing myself it's not that funny because I'm too lazy to get up and write it down.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Like, it's not that good. Like, I don't want to, because you just don't want to get up.
And then you finally get up and write it down the next morning. You're like, oh, it wasn't worth it.
Right.
It was terrible.
It does actually suck. Or you forget, you lose it and stuff. And now I do. How do you do that? What is your process with writing?
I have like,
like if you just think of a bit, do you like say it into your phone maybe, or you know, what do you do?
I have like a notepad on my phone. I'll usually write it on the notepad on the phone, then I'll type it out long form on the laptop, and then I'll put the set order on a handwritten notebook.
Right.
So it goes like 3 stages.
I'm only half. I got 1 foot in and 1 foot out of new technology, so I actually write it with a pen on my phone.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I fax the bits to myself.
Yeah, I record it on an 8-track, and then I put it and then I email it to a JPEG. Is that what you do? Mostly it's the phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because this is such
laptop a lot,
it is
too.
my entire life, because I don't do, as the guys who I work with will tell you, I don't do emails. So everything is this. I get a text from Danny like in the afternoon about what's happening, and I text back or something, and then my stand-up guy will say, you're supposed to go to Bum F, Illinois, and do this club, and they need an interview. I go, okay, whatever. Well, you know, it's like the whole thing is here.
It's really bad, too. I noticed, like, for people like me who have, like, a short fuse, where if you get news that you're pissed off about, you can just write immediately back.
Right.
Opposed to the phone, where you really had to think about the numbers you were pressing.
That's true.
You know, and now it's just like, there it is, emotion.
It is good for immediate reactions to stuff. Now, Mikey, what is your process? Mike, you're also a stand-up comic. How do you, when you think of a new bit, like you obviously thought to wear the Portland jersey tonight.
I liked it, how it looked. I just threw it on quick.
So how did you remember to do that?
I just seen it in the dresser, and I'm like, let me grab this.
So that was a spontaneous thing?
Yeah, it was improv.
Okay. So that's an improvisational thing, kind of like that. Where did you learn that, at UCB?
I love the UCB, yeah. They're the best.
That's not what I asked.
Oh, I'm sorry. They bring your instincts out over there.
Holy Christ. Well, what brochure did you read that out of? The UCB, they bring your instincts out over there. They got enough money, dude. Don't do a commercial for them.
Staying silent. The ghost of Del Close will start haunting you.
Great reference. Very nice. Do you know who Del Close is, Mike?
Yeah, she was a founder of Second City.
Nice. You know, Danny knew him.
Oh, really? Dan was telling me he knew him.
Yeah, Del Close came on to him in a room or something, right?
Oh, are you kidding me? Really?
No, he was heterosexual.
But you're not. No, I'm kidding.
Artie, Danny has a beef with Tom Seaver since childhood.
Tom Seaver, the pitcher?
I think so, yeah.
Why would you bring that up during Dan St. Germain's?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dan. What do you
But
call
do you
it?
understand? Do you understand how rude that is?
I'm so sorry, Dan. I apologize.
Do you not like him,
I'll
Dan?
I mean, I'll live. Who?
Do you not like Tom Seaver?
I don't really watch. Tom Seaver's a pitcher, right? I don't really watch baseball. I don't watch baseball.
Dan Filato has a problem with him.
He's talking about you.
Oh.
That's why it's so rude. Do you really have a beef with Tom Seaver?
No, not really. I don't care.
What happened? Well, it sounds like you do. Now it sounds like you
I think
don't.
when they crucified his Cubs back in the late 60s.
Is that
when we were
why?
growing up, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little upset about the 69 Cubs, but it has nothing to do with this conversation. What are you talking about, Mike?
I like breaking Dan's balls. That's why Filato.
You have bad interview instincts, Tourette's or something.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Dan.
He's
my
Mike
mistake.
Wallace in a Portland jersey.
He's Mike Wallace, enormously fat in a Portland jersey. So what's next now? Do you live in Manhattan?
Yeah, I live in Brooklyn.
You live in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to grown-up Brooklyn. I'm in Bushwick now, where it's all like graphic designers and everything. It's like I always say, it's half Vampire Weekend, half Dominican Republic over there. It doesn't know which one it wants to be.
Do you play the clubs there now?
Yeah, I play like the stand. I came up in a lot of downtown rooms like Union Hall and UCB, and
You know, they bring out
the
your
Creek.
instincts over there.
Yeah. And now I do like the Stand and the Strip and like Greenwich and New York. You know, I do the club circuit now. I bounce back and forth. I think it's good to do both.
But Brooklyn, are there a lot of like what they call, alternative rooms?
Yeah, a lot of stuff in like a loft, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't. I did some of that. That stuff was just starting as my generation. My generation started it. That alternative room thing.
Yeah, well, they say like Steve Martin's the original alt comic.
But there was no sort of real place to do it. And then but I gotta say, for all I make fun of it, it got me my job. How I got on Mad TV, I got on network TV as a regular through one of those alternative rooms.
Oh, really?
They had a place here called the Luna Lounge.
Oh, yeah. I've heard all these stories about that place.
The original one was on 8th Avenue and 16th Street.
Yeah.
And Monday nights they would have, an industry night where all these people would go. So do you have a place like that where you go? The Creep in the Cave?
Everything. I don't even know what's industry. And I did something tonight that was industry, because you're at the Stand, it's like a best week ever show. But I don't think there's one place to. It used to be back. I guess maybe I'm not in over at the Cellar, but the Cellar's the one place people maybe come.
Well, that's a big. That's an old school.
That's an old school place.
But it's definitely a place where to get seen.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's. I guess UCB is. It's like there's certain shows, like I think Whiplash on Monday nights,
right?
Like big, terrific, like the Union Hall Sunday night shows. Those are like. Those three and probably the Cellar or like the four. And then there's so many industry showcases now. And then there's other industry showcases where they just lie to you. It's like, oh, if you do this, you may get a job writing for Law and Order. You know what I mean? It doesn't even make any sense.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's what every comedian's dream.
Yeah.
To write Ice-T's jokes.
Yeah. If I go to Chuckle Nuts, I may be on G4.
to write the comedic relief that Mariska Hargitay is going to use.
All the fart jokes on SVU.
But, all right, so how can we find you on the internet? And
I'm on dansaintgermain.net. Somebody got a chemist got like the .com.
I know, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I still don't have it. I have Artie.Lange. Or Artie-Lange.
Did that guy try to sell it to you?
Well,
because that happened to me with the Twitter.
It's a Japanese porn site. And as I've gotten more famous, the Japanese porn site is insanely popular. So say it's Dan St. Germain.
Yeah, just Google Dan St. Germain, and I'm on DS Germain on Twitter.
And the half-hour Comedy Central special.
May 17th.
What's it called?
It's just a bunch of half hours. Okay. So it's like a half-hour series.
But yours airs May 17th on Comedy Central.
Yeah, 12 a.m.
At 12 a.m. Again, May 17th, you'll be on VH1's Best Week Ever, and your first comedy album comes out in December. Now, what's that called?
It's going to be called Bad at the Good Times.
Okay.
We're hoping December. Now maybe like January, February.
Web series Kicking Dan Out and podcast My Dumb Friends. Hey, Dan, come back anytime, brother.
Thank you. I had a great time. It was a thrill to be on here,
Tell your dad I said hi. Bring him
I
next
totally
time.
will. I'll bring him the next time.
Yeah, the more fans I have around, the better chance I have of getting laid, I think.
Especially with my dad.
That's right. I'll bang him. I'll bang the hell out of you. Hell.